Hi guys, so today I'm going to be reviewing Only Ever Yours by Lousie O'Neill. Just a bit of a disclaimer quickly, this does feature quite a lot of issues that could be seen as triggering for some people that are going through similar problems. I will be talking about some of these points, and I just want to give you the opportunity now to back out this video if you think that's something you'll feel uncomfortable with or that might trigger you emotionally. So just so you know, trigger warning here, now, leave if you need to do that. Also, I would describe this review that I'm about to do to be non-spoilery, but I am going to be speaking about specific events that happened, just not characters who it happened to. So if you like to go into a book blind, don't watch this because I am going to be talking about events and stuff like that. But if you just want to know my opinion, you don't really have an interest in reading the book yourself, or you don't really care, you know, feel free to join me on this unfortunate rant. Just before I actually go on to my review, I want to kind of push you to kind of watch Shout Amy's review on this book. I think she filmed it over a year ago, but her points are very mixed feeling, and I think that I had quite a few similar feelings as she did, but she definitely, in my opinion, understands books and literature far better than me, and I think she can kind of articulate herself better than I could ever. So if you do want a bit more information, check out her review and other reviews just before, you know, of different opinions. So I don't want to sway you too badly because this is unfortunately going to be mainly a negative review, and I don't want you to miss out on a book that you might enjoy but I just didn't, you know, so if that makes sense. So I definitely urge you to watch that review, as well as look up your own reviews as you see fit. Now, I may sound a little bit contradictory in this review because I can see that those points are there, but I'll explain later why I didn't enjoy how they were explained, if that makes sense. But anyway, just before I go any further, I did give this a 1 out of 5 stars. If you don't know what Only Ever Yours is about, it's basically a dystopian kind of novel, I would describe it to be, about an Earth that has kind of got to the point where females are not conceived naturally, they're not born naturally, and so they're made in labs, and they go to a school and they have to be taught to be perfect and, you know, to be willing and submissive to men. A really interesting concept, actually. So with that being said, let's get on to the review. To say I didn't like this book is an understatement. There were some parts that I did feel myself being absorbed in, but for the most part I felt like this just lacked depth and pretty much everything that I was hoping for. From the beginning I was pretty much far from impressed. I was really kind of hoping to get some strong feminism points and kind of subtle but witty jabs at society today in a dystopian form that would be easily digestible. What I got was kind of pathetic play on words, just utter shallowness, if that's even a word. I mean, they even used the word feminism as an insult when somebody said that they liked someone else's personality, which I mean was a lie, but you know, that's not the point. I just think that this book missed a big opportunity to hook me from the start, and missed even a bigger opportunity of using this book as a tool to send a very powerful message. In saying that, I know a lot of people have enjoyed that and have grasped the message from that, but for my own reading experience, it wasn't the case for me. However, in saying that, some of the glimpses into the past that we see through certain characters, which is mainly our current, present day, I suppose, like in real life, is their past. The information that was provided in that was just really, really interesting at how the Earth was kind of being eroded away due to global warming and how there was almost an extinction of females, sort of things. That was interesting. I just wish that we had more of that for the bulk of this, and just more depth that little bit of glimpse showed us. It was just a shame that it was just a glimpse that we got, well, that I got out of it at least, and it was shown through a less than shallow but still shallow protagonist. I was instantly annoyed by the lack of capitalisation of words and names that should have had that, but I think that was just a picky thing for me. I honestly feel that the author had intended that to be her style of writing, but when I was reading it at the time, I didn't see the point. I just thought it was an added annoyance for my overall annoyance of this book, if that makes sense. Since reading it, I have looked up some reviews. I've calmed down a little bit, but this is definitely a passionate review because I wrote it as I was reading it, so it's going to have a lot of in-the-moment thoughts. But I did hear someone say that it was to emphasise the fact that the Eves were more like property. They didn't kind of deserve the respect of a name or, I guess, a status other than their link to their future husbands. So if that was actually true, what the author was trying to sort of convey, then that was an interesting element. Also, sorry if you hear noise in the background, people have just come in the house and I'm talking a bit quietly now. So as I briefly mentioned, the word changes, the play on words, I felt was completely pointless. I'll put the spellings up on the screen as I say that, but they had words like eggies, womanstration, leggies, a fruit, a photo, and chick chick. Chick chick. really. I don't know why the regular words and spellings of these things had to be changed. Maybe perhaps it was to sort of give you a sense of the innocence and childlike nature that these women probably had. I don't really know. Was that the point? I don't get it. I didn't get it. I still don't get it. Was it supposed to look cute? I don't know. So there was some obvious racism. I almost hit myself in the face. There was some obvious racism to a girl from the Chindia zone, which is their version of an improved, I guess, China. And I just didn't like the way that went down and how it felt. There was a lot of whitewashing there and I didn't appreciate it. But again, looking back on it, I can see how that might have been another message, but at the time, it just wasn't well expressed, I suppose. It just felt insulting. It's like the mentioning of bulimia, anorexia, binge eating, sexuality, drug addiction, and everything else that was thrown into the mix. It just didn't flow well to me. It didn't feel like it was done in a good way. And I feel bad saying that because I had heard as well in another review that apparently the author has suffered with some of these problems herself. And if that's the case, I just feel like she didn't go about it in a very sensitive way. Perhaps she wanted to be blunt and straightforward with it, but to me, it just repelled me. Maybe I'm too sensitive, which is a quote from the book, probably a bad time to be a bit silly, but yeah, maybe I am too sensitive, maybe I just took it the wrong way, but I didn't like how things were said. There was just a lot of whitewashing and fat shaming and just girl bitchiness, which I can see obviously it's because of the competition between the Eves and everything like that, but I just wanted it to show a proper message and I wasn't really getting much message from it or anything that I could take away and reflect on that much. But in saying that, I have been thinking about this book non-stop, so I don't know, it's a catch-22. I mean, the thing that really gets me as well is there were times when the book made me feel guilty for eating, and the reader should never have to feel, you know, shame or, you know, anything like that when they've done nothing wrong. And I feel like this was very pushy in that. The way it was written, the way it was worded, it made me feel guilt, and I didn't like that. The characters were pretty much dreadful. I had little to no connection with any of them and just didn't care about their problems, frankly. Everything just felt whiny and dramatic and left me really irritated every time I put the book down. I felt like I was supposed to appreciate our main character Frida because she clearly had a slightly different opinion and different view of the world that they live in than the other Eves did, but she was still, you know, just as bad as the others. She's still kind of self-absorbed. She lusted over popularity and sacrificed many important things to get that. It just, you know, she wasn't any better than the others, really. And for me to like a book, at least, I need to have some sort of connection with the main character, and I just didn't have that. I felt like all the Eves seemed to make problems out of nothing, and everything just seemed to be melodramatic and very shallow. The last 20% or so of the book was its only saving grace, and to be honest, I kind of say that lightly. I guess it was just more enjoyable to read, even if it still boils down to badly handled themes and wasted opportunity to make this novel into something amazing. If the rest of the book was written like the last few chapters, it may have got a slightly different rating and different review in general, but it wasn't, and here we are with this negative review. The only decent message that I dug hard enough to find was that society paints women to be a certain way, to perform a certain way, to do certain things. They just tell them how they're supposed to be, and when they try and try and try to fit that perfect image, they still get told they're worthless. So that was something I took away from it, but it was something I'd already knew. You know, it didn't add to my knowledge. It was clear in showing how the littlest things can bring you down and how your best friend can easily be your worst enemy. It definitely expressed that aspect well in the Mean Girls kind of vibes that you got from this book. These Eves are made to be perfect, yet they're competing with each other and they're horrible to each other, so, you know, it had that interesting aspect there. But anyway, I only really managed to dissect that kind of message in the last portion of the book. It wasn't ringing very true throughout the entirety. Either I was just too stupid to see it earlier on in the story, or the book didn't convey it well enough and express it well enough, as well as the other things that I felt were lacking or non-existent. I definitely knew there were important factors here. For example, the obvious misogynistic feelings that were definitely radiating from some of the inheritance and other men of power and status. I mean, it showed it really well in the general structure and plot of the book, as well as, you know, hinting at minor other themes that I was hoping to see. It just wasn't fleshed out well enough. My general thoughts on that is that it just wasn't pushed on us, you know, as well as I wanted it to do, and if it was, it just wasn't pushed very well and felt like it was in bad taste. Overall, it was a fast-paced book with some slow hitches in the road, but lacked depth. I'm just hugely disappointed in this novel and the way it was written. This could have displayed a humanity and world could have in some way, you know, become of us. But in my mind, as harsh as it sounds, and I hope it doesn't come across as disrespectful, it just failed in doing that for me. I don't think I've ever felt such negativity and just strong dislike towards a book in my life, and I feel so bad for saying that, but it's true. I felt angry reading this. I feel bad because from Lousie O'Neill's afterword in the book, you can tell she was really coming from a good place and kind of just wanted to make a difference in, I guess, how women feel about themselves, a difference to society in general, what could become if we, you know, stay the way we are. But it all just comes down to being poorly executed, really. Because I didn't gain anything from it, benefit anything from it, I just feel like I can't recommend this book. In saying that, I have seen some positive reviews since reading this book. As I said, my emotions have calmed down after the last couple of days, straight after reading it, and my perspective on it has widened slightly. I can see it from a different point of view and maybe appreciate other aspects a little bit better. But, you know, my review's my review. I still feel strongly about how I feel in this book. I think it could have been written so much better. I think perhaps it could be translated well into film, maybe, if quite a few things were changed. But yes, please do check out some other reviews before you decide if this is a book for you. And if you do decide to read it, I really hope you get more out of it than I did and have a better reading experience. So thank you very much for watching. Sorry the volume went down for the majority of the video. But yeah, I'll speak to you in another video soon. Bye.